want to tell the story of where this WeeTwo came from real briefly? Like that WeeTwo, what does that mean?
After a divorce decade ago, way past a decade ago, I was alone and I had a dog named Winnie. I got her from Winn-Dixie because she was an orphan puppy being given away, and I took her in. We spent about 2 years together and she got pregnant and she passed away in birthing. I used to vet tech years ago, so this is one of the affinities I have for the veterinarian field. But I was able, with nothing but tears running out of my eyes, to remove the rest of the puppies that she could not do. The last one that I pulled the birth sac off and squeaked up and got her rubbed up so she's squeaking and breathing, was this little puppy that looked like Winnie did. And I said, I don't know what I'm going to call you, honey, but I'm going to keep you, and we two will go everywhere together. And I bottle fed that little puppy next to my neck at night. The other puppies I kept in a cage box in the spare closet and found them all good homes. But WeeTwo was what I named her. And for 13 years, WeeTwo went everywhere together. And she was the most intuitive savior, the most wonderful dog, the most wonderful soul I had ever known. Unconditional love and just absolutely, people would say, how did you train her to do that? I never trained that dog to do anything. We were sitting at the kitchen table one night and I was eating a steak that I grilled. Remember, I lived alone at the time. And she looked up at me and she was begging. And I said, you ain't getting any of my steak, honey, unless you bring your dish and drop it here. And she looked up and she looked up and she looked up like she was really trying to figure out what the universe meant. And she ran away. I'm like, ha, 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 ha. And she came in and dropped her dish in front of me. I'm like, oh, I guess you get some of my steak. And we were best friends for 13 years. During that period of time, Melissa and I met and got married and then had children. And little Charles is, WeeTwo was still around when he was a little baby, and he remembers her. She was a wonderful dog. Now, I have a lot of assets, but a few years ago, I made some economic dumb decisions, and I ended up pretty darn cash poor. And WeeTwo had a tumor on her leg. And I rounded up 5,300, 5,500, somewhere in that range. And I paid a vet to remove the tumor. And he kind of butchered the surgery and left her with a half cut open tumor. And now I needed a full leg amputation to save her life. And that was $9,000 I no longer had. And it was now. It wasn't something like, oh yeah, I'll sell this property and do this and do that. It was now. And I reached out to everywhere and nah. And WeeTwo had to go away. Weeks later, I had plenty of cash, but I had made mistakes economically. People do that. And so when it came time to look at the world of crypto and what I could do, I decided to create a self-perpetuating fund, not just manipulate people's greed in the crypto world, but reward them and be a solid, unruggable, long-term project. That residuals will feed our 501c3. And the 501c3's mandate is by the end of the year to get to doing 1,000 or a surgery per day. And that will put 365 families out of a place where they have to choose between unconditional love given to us by God and money. I'll take care of the money part. Team WeeTwo will create taking care of the money part. And meanwhile, when I say I'm manipulating people's greed, greed's good. Get you up in the morning, makes you want to do things. So I'm going to deliver on a non-rug pullable project. Nobody's yanking the rug out from
Come
underneath
on.
you. If you buy $500 worth, you can pull 500 out or more. And every time you do a transaction, a little residuals go to everybody. A little residuals go to building our liquidity pool and making Team WeeTwo stronger and stronger. And a bit of residuals go over to the 501c3's wallet. And right now, we have $74,000 of residuals in the WeeTwo charity wallet. That's above its balance. They can never, the 501c3 can't touch the balance. They can only live on the residuals. But we're approaching $80,000 worth of surgeries that we can do. Now, my wife is, as charity liaison, has been reaching out to a lot of organizations, and we have 6 candidates on the table now. And in the coming days, again, I'm not a financial advisor, but in the coming days, we're going to have national press on our first surgery and our second and our third and our fourth, day after day. Now, soon after that, we're not going to make a big show of it, because boastfully do not. Okay. Your deeds, don't be boastful. Your prayers, don't be boastful. We have to, as a business, make a kind of a big media circus of the first couple, but I relegated that's for the team. But after that, you'll have to go to our website and just look at how many surgeries we're doing a week, with the dog's name and the testimonial direct from the family, but moreover, with all doxing and all straight up sincerity, every vet listed. So if you really wanted to, you could contact that vet and say, did you do this? Is that real? Yeah, they paid us directly. Because we don't pay out to anyone else, we pay vets directly. Now, Dr. Stan and Howard can tell you a lot more of the depths of the company and the things that are going to take us public. When I say that, I'll be real simple and blunt. Just so you know, we have 2 books that run WeeTwo. One is WeeTwo Inc. The other is the 501c3. We can't tell the name of that yet, but in a few days, the 501c3 will be announced of what its name is. It's sitting there as a book. We're setting up the banking structure and getting everything proper for her. One step at a time, everything legitimate, solid office, solid crew, everyone, you know who we are, you know where we live. We're not rug pulling you. We're building a multinational crypto project with a purpose that's going to create a self-perpetuating fund that all over the world. We're going to save fuzzy friends. I know, yes, one of the first surgeries, it very possibly is a ferret, but a ferret's God's creatures too. It's not just about cats and dogs.
Awesome. Wow. Wow.
Dr. Stan, take over for me.
Dale, man. Wow, man. That was heart touching, man. I appreciate you sharing that. And wow. And see, folks, you see how I always say to people, within your pain is hidden power. And that power can be used to profit others and create profits. And that's what he's done with that great pain in his life. He said, I want to help save others and not to go through that. So anyway, I don't